The last letter. The rain came down in steady sheets, blurring the windows of the small house at the end of Pinewood Lane. Inside, Sarah sat by the fireplace, an unopened letter clutched in her trembling hands. It had arrived that morning, postmarked from a remote village in Scotland, the return address smudged by time and travel. Her name, written in familiar handwriting, stirred 1,000 memories. She hadn't seen that handwriting in 20 years. The letter was from James. James and Sarah had grown up together in the sleepy town of Elder Creek. Best friends from the moment they met in primary school, their bond had always been unbreakable. Where she was quiet and careful, he was loud and fearless. They balanced each other, the way the sun balances the moon. By high school, they were inseparable, and by the time they graduated, they were in love. But life, as it often does, intervened. James had dreams too big for Elder Creek. He wanted to see the world, to write novels, to taste every culture, every language. Sarah, rooted to her family and the only home she'd ever known, couldn't go. And so, one rainy evening in October, he left, with a promise to write every week and a kiss that tasted like forever. He kept his promise at first. Every letter was a window into his adventures. Tales from Paris, mishaps in Rome, lonely nights in Berlin. Sarah would wait by the mailbox every morning, heart pounding like a drum. For years, they stayed connected, until one day, the letters simply stopped. No explanation, no goodbye, just silence. She wrote, again and again, but no response ever came. After a year, she stopped hoping. Her heart, once vibrant with dreams, settled into a quiet rhythm of routine. She became a teacher, built a life, even fell in love again, but never quite the same way. A part of her had been buried with those unread answers. And now, 2 decades later, a letter. She slowly peeled back the envelope, fingers brushing against the rough paper inside. The letter was dated 3 weeks ago. Dear Sarah, I hope this finds you well, though I have no right to expect it to. If you're reading this, it means I've finally found the courage to reach out, even if it's far too late. I've spent the past 20 years running, from regrets, from the pain I caused you, and mostly, from myself. When the letters stopped, it wasn't because I stopped loving you. Quite the opposite. I was in Nepal, hiking with a group of writers, when I fell seriously ill. For months, I was stuck in a remote hospital, barely able to move, unsure if I'd make it. By the time I recovered, I felt broken. I didn't want you to see me like that. Weak, scarred, less than the man you believed in. So I stayed silent, but the silence grew heavy, and with each passing year, it became harder to face what I'd done. I thought time would heal it. I was wrong. Some wounds don't close without apologies, without truth. I never stopped thinking of you, Sarah. I built a small cabin in the Highlands. Quiet, peaceful. I've been writing again, finally. You're in every story, every line of hope and light. You were always the best part of me. This is not a plea for forgiveness. I don't deserve that. But if, by some miracle, you still remember the boy who promised to write forever, know that he never stopped loving you. Always. James. Sarah didn't realize she was crying until a tear fell onto the edge of the paper, smudging his name. Her breath came in short, shallow gasps as she reread the letter, again and again, as if trying to catch the years between the lines. Outside, the rain slowed to a drizzle. The fire crackled softly beside her, casting shadows across the room like dancing ghosts. The memories came flooding back. Midnight talks by the lake, letters tied with string, the feel of his arms around her, the dreams they once painted together. She stood, walked to the window, and looked out at the world she had never left. Elder Creek was still the same, quiet and slow. But something inside her had shifted. The part of her heart that had long been sealed now ached with new breath. The next morning, she packed a small bag. Just enough for a week, maybe 2. She wrote a note for her neighbor to look after the house, fed her cat, and locked the door behind her. She held James's letter close as she boarded the train to the airport. The journey ahead was long, uncertain, but for the first time in years, her heart felt light. Not because of answers, but because of possibility. The Scottish Highlands welcomed her with mist and green hills that rolled like the sea. The air was crisp, laced with heather and pine. A small village lay nestled in a valley, and just beyond it, a modest cabin with smoke curling from its chimney. She stood at the gate, suitcase in hand, nerves dancing under her skin. The door creaked open. An older man stepped out, cane in hand, hair touched with silver, eyes wide with disbelief. Sarah, he whispered. She smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. You still write terrible goodbyes, she said softly. And then she walked forward, not toward the past, but into a new chapter that waited, long overdue, yet somehow right on time.